I'm Dolly. My channel name is Tea Time with Dolly and Thrifty Living. I have my cup of tea. So if you would like to get you something to drink and come back and join me for a little visit, that would be great. Okay, I want to mention too, if you like this video, can you please click the like or the thumbs up and share it with your friends, because I would love to have more people to watch my videos and to subscribe, because it does help me and it doesn't cost you anything. So, okay, are you ready? Today I thought I would talk about the cost of things per hours worked. You know, we usually talk about how much something costs in terms of money, but this time I want to talk about in terms of hours worked. If you have a large income, this video might not be that important to you. But if you're struggling like so many people are, I just want to point out that the minimum wage in the U.S. is only $7.25 an hour, and that's before taxes. So I don't know what it's after taxes, but probably would come out to $6 something. That's not very much, especially when you have to drive to work and if you had to pay a babysitter or something. It doesn't leave you much money. And believe it or not, there is thousands of people in the United States that's making about that amount of money. Then there's some other jobs that pays a little more, but still not high-paying jobs. And they're struggling to make ends meet. $7.25 is the U.S. minimum wage. Now, some states are a little higher. California is $14 an hour, and New York, $15 an hour. Of course, I hear things are a lot more expensive in those two states. Ohio is $8.55 an hour. Texas, $7.25. Maine, $11 an hour. Connecticut, $10.10 an hour. Rhode Island, $10.50 an hour. Vermont, $10.75. Florida, $8.46. And in my state of Indiana, it's still $7.25, as is, I'm sure, many other states. I just randomly picked some states. I asked my Alexa, and so that's the numbers that she gave me, which was, I believe, compiled in 2019, so like 3 years ago. And I haven't heard that they've changed, or she would have probably known. So anyway, that's just some figures there. So many jobs are really low-paying jobs. And especially if you've got a job that you really don't like. Do you want to think about how many hours you have to work to pay for something? So here's a little, well, this is something that I remember at a job that I used to work at. It was not a high-paying job either. It was one of those lower-paying jobs. And one day we were eating lunch, myself and some co-workers. And one of the co-workers made a comment when we were all just talking. She goes, every week after church, my family and I, we all go out and eat. It costs about $50. And I didn't have too much to say on that, but I was thinking, $50. You work here 7.5 hours in one day to probably earn that $50. And so, would you really want to spend it on one meal? If you sat at the restaurant for an hour and you spent the same amount of money that you worked 7.5 hours to get, I don't know, it doesn't sound right to me. Especially if she could have cooked the same meal at home for, say, $10, and maybe took her an hour's work instead of working for 7.5 hours a job that she probably didn't love. So it's something to think about. Also, like, think of it in terms of another scenario here. If you bought an appliance, a new appliance for $500, I know many of them are much more expensive than that, so I'm kind of going on the fairly low scale. So if you earn $10 an hour, even after tax, and of course you got to remember the minimum wage in a lot of states is going to be much less than that after tax. But we're going to say she made $10 an hour after tax, and she paid $500 for the appliance. You realize she'd be working 50 hours to pay for that appliance. And if she financed it, a lot more hours, because you've got to pay all that interest. So, and here's a little story that I read about. A lady went to a car lot. You know how a lot of people love to just browse around and look to see what there is. Not really planning to buy, but, you know, they got a great deal. Maybe. So she was looking around at the cars. Now, she had a nice little car that ran okay, but it wasn't a luxury car, just a little cheap car. So she was looking around and she found a more luxury car. And she really liked it. Oh, how she would like to have that. And of course, you know, when you're looking at a car, a sales representative comes out to try to sell you that car, right? So, in this case, I think he was the owner or manager of the car lot. So he could tell she really wanted the car, but it really wasn't in her budget. So she was thinking about it, and he said, you know, if you really want that car, you can work for me. I need a little help in the office department, and you know, you could work for me a few hours every week, and then you could have that car. You can drive that car home. Well, when he told her how long she'd have to work, how many hours, days, months, and she had a car that ran already, did she really want to spend all those hours working for him when she had a car that ran just to pay for one that had a little more luxury? She decided she didn't think she wanted to. But if she'd only thought about the money and not how many hours she had to spend working, you know, it might have been different. So if we think in terms of hours, and especially if it's a job we really don't like, do we really want to spend a lot more hours there day after day just to pay for something that we really don't need? Now, of course, there's situations where you really need a car or you need a new appliance. That's different. Here I'm talking about just because you want to upgrade. And then that's not even counting the interest. Do you ever see when you go into a store and they'll have a sign up, only so much money for an item? They never tell you only so much money plus interest if you finance it. So, or if you have to use your credit card and can't pay it off in that month. So then you're paying a lot of interest. So I just thought that was something that is something to think about, is instead of just how much does something cost, think how many hours do I have to work to pay for it. So that's all I have for this week. I hope you've enjoyed this video. May God bless you this week, and don't forget to subscribe or click like. Bye-bye.